Hello, everyone. All well? Hope everyone is doing good. It's great weather out here. I'm really happy to see so many people joining us today, over 170, because it's a very important topic. That's why a lot of people are interested, because we are going to talk about driving license for deaf and hard of hearing drivers, be it cars or bikes. We are going to have a great discussion today. Hope everyone can see Tushar clearly. I am Tushar. That is my sign name. I work with Here a Million, HAM, which is a project under Enable India. Before we start, there is one request. We want everyone to rename themselves according, if you can see my name, you've seen Tushar, Here a Million, Enable India. I have put my name and association clearly. We also want you to do the same. If there are names of different phones like Redmi and these, it's difficult when you have questions, it will be difficult for us to find you out. There are 196 people. That's a great number. And obviously so, because this is a pertinent issue. There has been a lot of debate, a lot of confusion around this. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced challenges. And Kerala is one state where we have seen the driving license are allowed. There are not many complications, but other places like Gujarat, even Karnataka, and all other states in India, there are discrepancies and the system is basically not clear. Also, some RTOs and offices accept and give licenses to deaf people, others don't. So this has been an ongoing issue. There have been a lot of discussions. They have already, many other countries have given or do give license to deaf people. I hope India also follows suit. We are now going to talk to people who have gotten their license. We know that, there are a lot of deaf people who have to bribe the officials, give them money so that they can give them the license. But there are people who have successfully, in the prescribed system, have achieved their licenses. So we are going to invite all these panelists one by one. We're going to have a short talk with them, and one after the other, we will hear about their experiences. And once all the speakers have shared their experiences, then, because we have to manage time, we have only 1.5 hours for us. So we would have to be careful of the time, and questions will be taken after the discussion. We have sign language interpreters, Saurav and Manisha, who would be translating sign to speech. There was a comment. Sorry, there is a request that all of you please keep your mics on mute. So the first person we want to welcome, do you know who we're going to welcome today? We're going to welcome Mr. Anuj Jain, who is the advocacy expert for the National Association of the Deaf, NAD India. Let's have Anuj. Hi, Anuj. Welcome. It's great to see you. Hi, Tushar. Thank you so much, Anuj, for accepting our request. So we're going to start with your introduction first, if you can give your brief introduction. Hello, everyone, all friends. Welcome to all the deaf people. Also, thanks to Hear a Million and Tushar for having me here. So for this important topic about driving license for deaf people in India, I am Anuj. I have been working for almost 11 years with the National Association of Deaf as an advocacy expert. Now I no longer work with National Association of the Deaf, but I'm working with a private company, but I still support NAD team as any kind of counseling or advice they require for advocacy related matters. My experiences related to driving license, I will be able to share. So thanks for having me. Tushar says, Anuj, I'm sure you were also involved with so many other advocacy efforts by the National Association of Deaf. Let us now understand clearly what is the government's perspective. You have met a lot of ministers and other government agents. What do they say? Are licenses allowed for deaf and hard of hearing people? Thank you, Tushar. You want to know whether for the license, has NAD been advocating for it? Let's go back to 2005 when National Association of the Deaf was established. We had, after the inception, spoken to the required ministry, but there was no response. Then we went to HRLN, which is the Human Rights Law Network, and they sent a letter to Supreme Court. Even the Supreme Court did not accept our petition. And we had a lot of advocacy efforts, protests. Then the transport minister in 2006, 2007, right up to 2010, 2006 to 2010, 4 years, the discussions were not fruitful. Then again, the National Association of the Deaf and HRLN, we decided person who's working with the government, it will be difficult for them to write a petition. And I was the joint secretary of the National Association of the Deaf, a member of the board. So I petitioned the government that the hearing applicants who take the driving test, there's a written test, there's examination, and after passing the examination, there's a drive. Now, for the deaf, there will be no hearing test. There will be a written examination, and the same examination will be given to both a deaf and a hearing candidate. But if you have to go for audiology and a medical certificate again, we told them that no, that won't be required. Out of the 26, states, we put a PIL requesting the Delhi High Court. I mean, this PIL was in Delhi High Court. This went to the High Court in 2011, 14th, in the month of February. And it was approved and an order was sent out. But the Indian government or the transport ministry did not align with or accept. And this was a tussle between the judiciary and the government at that point of time. There was a lot of discussion and debate. At the same time, NCP-EDP, you would remember, Javed Abidi founded that organization. There was an article, there was a reporter who was asked. We went to the driving license office. As soon as they got to know that I was deaf, they rejected my application. We sent the letter to the DG. We sent a letter to the Delhi government and the transport department of the Delhi government, the minister of the department. There also, they said that we don't have the power. It has to come from the center. So there was again a lot of tussle, and you know how it goes from one table to another. And again, in 2013, there's an RTO very close to my place. I applied again. Again, I was rejected. There was a letter by the Indian government. During the 2014 election, the work became further delayed. And as you would know, Congress government was defeated by Aam Aadmi Party. There was a new chief minister. So there was a lot of movement in the departments and the ministries, a lot of new ministers. There was a lot of letters we kept on sending to the Department of the Transport But they said, why do you need license? How would deaf drive? They need hearing aids. How would you hear? Now you would know the Motor Vehicle Act, the MVA. MVA, the Motor Vehicle Act in 1988. Yes, it has been mentioned that deaf people will not be allowed to drive. Persons using hearing aids will only be allowed. So that is mentioned in the act. So that is something which needs to be worked upon. So we started working on that. Then again, when the government changed, there was Nitin Gadkari, who became the union minister. He's from Nagpur, and we tried his office. And at that time, Zorin and A.S. Narayanan, they went in for this advocacy effort. Then there was a new CM. And since there was a new CM, there was a new minister in the transport department. So everything looked positive. But we wanted to understand why this is not working out. And so the board members of National Association of Deaf connected with Nitin Gadkari, the Union Minister for Road Transport. And again, we spoke to the ministers, and it was discussed that which place is the number one in terms of road accidents? It is India. So government said that it will be very difficult for us to give license to deaf people because their inability to hear. Both Zorin and Narayanan said that there are rear view mirrors. There is no problem. We can drive with our visual sense. And people who are hearing, even though they're hearing there are so many horns, they still have so many accidents. What is the data about deaf people making accidents? So again, the Union Ministry for Road Transport, Government of India, we connected again and filed a petition. So there was an order which was passed. There would be a driving license test which was allowed to deaf and hard of hearing people, but it was not a strong amendment sorts. For example, the MVA, we wanted a change in the clause which was put there. But this order came for the test. This was 28th October 2016. When we saw the order, Kanpur in UP, they were the first people to actually connect with National Association of the Deaf if there was some help required. And you remember 2011 February, when we had that letter we sent to the High Court, Delhi High Court, we took the same paper and along with 2016 28th October order, we sent it to the Kanpur RTO. The deaf group there was advocating for a very long time, and there were 50 deaf people who got their licenses made. I don't believe it. In Kanpur, are you saying? Yes, in Kanpur. And along with that, there was a ripple effect, and other RTOs in UP followed suit. But then again, the NCR Noida, it's so close by to Delhi, but they are not accepting. But other places in UP, so there is an issue. It is not uniform. Not all RTOs actually give the licenses. But again, despite so many advocacy efforts, it's difficult for us to still, the government has been playing spoil sport. So we ensure all the documents which we have, we make sure to connect with all the agencies which connect with us, but we are still facing rejection. The organizations from Maharashtra, a hearing person had actually put a letter to the Bombay High Court, a petition in 2013, saying that the government, the High Court of Bombay actually said driving license should be allowed. But again, it was some places in Maharashtra. Let's see, Haryana, there was another organization, and Haryana, the entire state, all RTOs, all deaf people are getting licenses. Yes. Entire state, they are having no hassles in getting their licenses. Andhra Pradesh also, Telangana also. Telangana, we are still trying to advocate, but Andhra Pradesh is easy. There are other states also like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, as I already told you, West Bengal, all the north states, Himachal Pradesh. I think we sent a letter in 2019. The same letter and the order, we used to send both these documents to the association along, the Association of the Deaf Himachal Pradesh. The office is in Shimla. We sent a letter to them. They had also been frantically advocating for a very long time. Even during COVID, they kept on trying. 2020, 2021, and finally there was an order from the Himachal Pradesh government, Ministry of Transport, the state ministry. So there were 20 deaf people in Himachal who were getting licenses. So the fact is that, again, the major problem is since the ministries keep changing and the entire setup and the system keeps changing, that is what makes the problem. This union minister is still, I mean, it is not all over India. There's so many states, only 5 states we can say are agreeing to the norms. See, there were other efforts like the NCRT, NEP, ISLRTC. But regarding the licenses, we needed 100 complaints. If we have like 100 complaints from, for example, if we say there are 32 states in India, how many people are actually facing issues? Give us those testimonials. These are our complaints. Even after our advocacy efforts, our messages and videos, there were only 2 people who responded to us. What we are saying is, for example, people from Maharashtra, deaf people from Goa, Gujarat, and other states, Jammu Kashmir, northeastern states, wherever people are facing issues with licenses, this complaints are proof that they are facing problem. At least more than 100 complaints if we receive, the National Association of Deaf can take it to the ministry, the Union Ministry of Road Transport, that see, this is the proof there are so many people who have been facing issues and we are not lying. And finally, the Motor Vehicles Act, MVA, the clause needs amendment. The act needs amendment, but for that we need proof. And NAD has been sending out a lot of videos in the deaf community, but our responses were very minimal. We got only 2 responses. So what you have to do is you send it directly to the NAD office. Your complaints have to be sent to the NAD office. Yes, keep them coming. As soon as there are a lot of complaints which are testimonials of the challenges and barriers and the rejections, because the order is already there in 2018. The High Court has also said the driving license examinations cannot be disallowed. But the fact is, without proof, it becomes hard for us to take things forward. Himachal Pradesh was a very good example. Kanpur also, you see things work. And if you want to see positive or successful states, Haryana would be one state. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh are some states which have really done well. Advocacy efforts have been successful, but yes, we have still not received a national consensus on it. Thank you so much, Anuj, for sharing so much history and details about your advocacy efforts. This is really important. So we will, I want to reiterate, as Anuj said, that keep your complaints and send them to NAD office. They want at least 100 complaints so that they can petition to the government that the MVA can be amended, that hearing people can go for getting your license, but only people using hearing aids. But, for that we have to go, you understand, we have to go to the medical test again. And there is no difference between this driving skill. Hearing people, when all the windows are up, they are not listening to anything. They are also using their sight, looking at the mirrors and rearview mirrors. And I would say, hearing people are the ones who are primarily making so many accidents all over the world. And also, of course, India is #1 in world accidents. Deaf would be 0.1%. Tushar says, see, it's a visual skill. I think the government needs to agree and just, open up to our demands. Thank you so much for sharing, Anuj. I hope there are so many complaints, 100 complaints sending to NAD office, which are proof that the advocacy efforts can then take flight. And hopefully we hope that driving license is available for deaf people. So with that, Anuj, I would request you to now, we will remove you from spotlight. If there are any questions connected to you, we will ensure to have you back. Next, can we have Saudamini ji?
Saurabh, I'll take over.
Thanks.
Can we have Sudamini? Hi. Hello. Thank you, Sudamini. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you for accepting our request and joining our panel discussion. So I would like to ask you first question, if you can introduce yourself. So yeah, I am included in the many boards. So I am an advocate. Thankfully, now I'm an advocate and I am Sudamini. So I would like to share a good news with everyone. 2 days before, I got the certification from Bar Council of Delhi. I got the license. Wow, so great. Applause for you. So you got the certification from Bar Council. We are so proud of you of having a deaf advocate. So I have fought for my rights, for the deaf people rights and for women empowerment. And I've been working in the multiple areas. So now I will fight as an advocate. And thank you so much. So we would like to have you, deaf people, they have the issues and they have concerns. So you would be the right person to connect with. Yes, I agree with you. So I would like to ask you, MVA, Motor Vehicle Act. So what MVA describes, whether the deaf people can get the license, or in RPWD Act 2016, whether it is mentioned in RPWD Act that deaf people can get the license. So whether it is mentioned in the law, if you can just explain it to us. Sure. Sudamni here. So Motor Vehicle Act, yes. So earlier we do had this act and it still continued. In section 8, subsection 4, so I have read that if a person has a disability, so they need to provide the medical certification, then they can get the license. Can you share an example? For example, if I get the medical certification from the doctor that I can drive. So that is, that is the more power is being concerned with the doctor. So you need to have the medical certification certifying that you can. So we can get it from any hospital. Yeah, you have to have the medical representation, the certification. After that, you would be allowed to get the certification. So the doctor, any doctor we can visit to, a doctor who is working in this area and medical representative. So yeah, if you have a disability, so for deafness, you need to get the audiology test done. And the second thing, in RPWD Act, there is no special provision for the license in RPWD Act, but in the Transport Act, it does have it. So for example, if you have the another disability in road transport, they say that we can't discriminate persons with disabilities. So that means that, yeah, people can get the license. So we can get through the other act also. But how we can, so for the disabled person, there could be another way. We do have a legal way also. So next question I would like to ask you, Sudhamni, for example, if there is a deaf person who would like to get the driving license and they are visiting the RTO office and they would like to get the two-wheeler or four-wheeler license. And if they're denying to the deaf person, they are discriminating us. So how we can tackle that situation? How we can do the advocacy work? If you can share some examples. Yeah. So like just Mr. Anuj mentioned, like you have to make the complaint. I agree with him, but there should be a way. We have to work together. We have to be united for. We have to be united for it, right? If we are going and they are denying and we are just going back doing nothing. So if we would have multiple people who would be having the same experience and they are complaining, that would going to make a bigger impact. We would be asking why we have been denied, what is the reason. After getting the answer, then we can talk to them that RPWD, whether they are following the RPWD Act or not. So Tushar here, I mean, how we can talk about RPWD here, it could be related to discrimination. Yes, so we can say that accessibility was not provided. For example, in RTO, it's a government office, correct? So government, the public offices, they need to provide the accessibility to the person with disability. Whether they are providing, Tushar, yes, no, they are not providing the accessibility to us. So Damni here, yeah, this is the thing. In license, you need to give the test, correct? Yes, right. We need to give the test also. So they have the questions, right? And that's a computer-based test. And after that, we have a driving test, correct, right? So if you pass the learning license test and you have read the questions, so, but how deaf people can answer the questions? Because then again, they are not able to read. So it's government office responsibility to provide the interpreter at the examination center and provide the accessibility. If they are missing on it, for example, we should not have our own interpreter. It's government's office responsibility. So for example, if we are advocating for our rights, we need to ask them, like we are not understanding the questions, we need to have the interpreter. That's how we should have the interpreter, right? To communicate. Yes, correctly. So that's how we can correlate it to the RPWD Act. So down here, and also I have read 2016 IIMS, where it's already mentioning that how if a person, the driving is depend on the visual things, not on the auditory part. So in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, there is a RTO regional. So there's a region-wise office they have in Maharashtra. So they don't have in all their jurisdiction. So there is a problem in the Maharashtra. So when in jurisdiction in that area, so they say that, yeah, for example, if I'm living here, I'm living in Faridabad right now. So where I have to complain? I have to complain in my area, the jurisdiction where I come from. We can't complain in Maharashtra whether I have been whether it could be a native place for me. So if any deaf person, you would like to complain, you need to discuss how we can complain. Online, you can discuss and you can gather the complaint of other people. And you can also file the RTI. And you can, ask the Ministry of Transport also, you can file the RTI. I have applied for the license, whether you are discriminating, what are the rules for the license, what is the procedure. So you can file the RTI, then they might start issuing the license. But yeah, we need to have a multiple complaints to file at the ministry office. That's how they might provide it. That could be maybe a last option. If you are brave, maybe you can say that, yeah, if you are discriminating us, we have rights. You are violating our rights. You will be fined, right? How we can ask for that? Yes. So in RPWD Act, it says that no one can discriminate us. So why Ministry of Transport are discriminating us. So at that point, we can ask them that they have to pay the fine for discriminating us. So there are different systems where we need to see, where we fix our situation, and that's how we can go through it. So I know that, yeah, if our rights are being violated and we should get the accessibility, we should get the license. We should be treated at par and equally. So license is mandatory all over the India, not in like in particular states people are getting. So it should, all the deaf people across all over India should be treated equally. Yes. So one last question I would like to ask you. So Motor Vehicle Act, sorry. Motor Vehicle Act, does it talk about the person with deafness too? Like Anuj said that it is not mentioned in the law that person need to have a hearing aid or something like that. So have you read somewhere whether the law got any rules and regulations got changed, or if we can fight together, we can change any pointer which is mentioned in the act? So Damini here. So in my perspective, the MVA is a general act, okay, but RPWD, it's a special law for persons with disabilities. So it depends on the situation. If something appears, whether it will applicable to the MVA or whether the RPWD Act, special law or the general law, which would be applicable, you need to understand this thing. So this is the reason, if we are depending on the RPWD Act, we can ask them that why they are discriminating us. They are not allowed to. So yeah, we can show them that we have the special law for us. So for example, if we are filing the public interest litigation, and they will say, it's not our responsibility. So in our legislature, it's not the citizens' responsibility, it's state's choice, they can decide. Likewise, ISLRTC, so they are the autonomous body. So for example, if you are filing the PIL for the Indian Sign Language, making it an official language, so that's not citizens' responsibility. So it's an administration work. Okay, so that is something like they clear it out. So for example, if you are seeking a general law or other laws which has special law for the person with disabilities, you need to check all the things. After that, you need to fight for it. Then you will have to decide what could be the right way. Okay, thank you so much, Sudamni. It was a clear explanation. So we'll be having you again. So if there would be any audience who would be like to ask you a question, we would be having you once again. Thank you. Hi, Aniket. I hope you are good. Hello. Hello, Tushar. Yes, we can see you very well. Yes, if you can keep your mobile at one place only. Okay, so I would like to ask you, Aniket, the SLAD association has fought for the license. So what you have done, and if you can explain about yourself. So hi, my sign name is this. I'm from Maharashtra. Is the signing space good? Okay, you need to adjust your camera. Can you see me now? Yes, I can see you clearly. So I'm in Maharashtra. So SLAD, so we have been fighting for the license. It's been 5 years. So now we have a new government and we have a new vice president. So in next 5 years, we would be having an election and we would be seeing that how we can work on it. So next question I would like to ask, in Maharashtra, you have been fighting for license, for the motor license, right? So while you have been advocating for this thing, what was your experience? Whether in Maharashtra people accepted or whether they denied? If you can explain If you can share your experience. Aniket here. Thank you so much for having me here. I would like to share, like here in Maharashtra, fighting for license, it's not easy. So, there are a lot of deaf people in Mumbai who were complaining and they want to use their own personal conveyance for visiting, for coming, going from and to the office. So they complained and they said that they would like to get the license. And they said the deaf person who have the 100% disability, they can apply for it. So in 2011, you remember, the court ordered, like the court ordered, but the Amit, who lives in Mumbai, in 2013, he got the license, and we saw that, what was it? So the what Anuj said, right? The Bombay court, they have ordered that deaf people can get the license. So there was a person who filed the case in the court, and then the court ordered that the deaf person can get the license. So the government, we applied for the license in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, and the government, they said no, will not accept it. So we thought that how we should go, maybe we should go to the another court. So we again protested for it, they didn't accept it. So we have the 3 points where, but license, that was quite difficult thing for us, and government was not ready to accept it. So we made the letter application where we said that we would like to get the license. If you are if you can't provide us the license, then you need to pay to a driver. To our drivers, you need to pay. If you are not accepting our request and not providing us the license, so you need to pay the salary to our driver, monthly salary. So for example, if you can't drive, then you would be having a driver, and the government has to pay to a driver. So we asked them, what would you like to do it? So they thought, no, that would be a hefty expenditure for them. That made an impact, right? And the second thing, what we did, we told them that the family members who are sometimes they are having a medical condition in that situation, and our children who are having an exam, and our relative, we have to go, and you.
And if in
Yeah.
those cases.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, sure, go on.
For example, yeah. Sorry, Aniket. So you need to fix your camera at one position. Okay, it's quite moving again and again. Yes, if you when you are signing, your camera is moving. So can you just give me 2 minutes? I'll just fix it. Yeah, sure. We'll just hold on for 2 minutes. So sorry, everyone. He needs to fix his camera. So we'll be just waiting for him to come back again. I hope it's interesting, right, for everyone? And you're learning too? Okay, great. Now it looks better. Yeah, so what you were saying? Yeah, so the government, they can't pay to your driver, right? So the pointer which we made, first of all, we asked, if you are not providing license to it, that's fine to us. But then the driver and the two-wheeler driver and the four-wheeler driver, you need to pay that person. That would be a hearing person, right? You can provide that. You need to decide whether you would be providing license to us, or whether you would be making monthly payment to our drivers. Or the second thing, we ask them, sometimes, if our family member have a medical condition, our children have exam, and we have to go a very far place. So how we can get the help? They were not able to answer. So these are things which we mentioned in our letter, and we asked them, we need to get the answer. What the reason made impact, there are a lot of people who filed this complaint, and the government thought that they might have to expend a lot on this situation, and they talk between each other, and then they decide that they will provide us a license. So Manoj, who is the president, he helped us. He gave us the idea, like, yeah, this is the thing. And we also discussed within our board member, this is not like we have decided by ourselves. We need to provide the awareness to the government, the government saying that, yeah, you will not provide you license and all. But Tushar is saying, yeah, you did the right thing, If we would be going against the government, so we would become an enemy for each other. So we need to explain our situation to them. That's how they will understand what is our requirement, correct? And the second thing, if the government will, provide the license to us, and the government, they actually approved it. So the Maharashtra government, they have the gazetted release where they mention, so like the court orders and the Maharashtra government, they release the gazetted notice that, yeah, deaf people would be allowed to get the license. So we did the research from other other states also, and we saw that the person with deafness who have the 100% hearing loss, they get the license easily. Person who are using the hearing aid and they have 70 to 80% hearing loss, they might not getting the license. So we asked the government, if you are not providing us the license, then you need to give us in the return if you are not providing us. So we wrote the letter to the RTO office. The another license authority, they are discriminating us and they are not providing us the license. So that's how we vote for our license fund. So if any office, we would be asking any office, if they are not accepting, they would not provide us the license, then we would easily ask them, just give us the paper if you are rejecting our application, and we will simply write our application to the RTO office, because we will be asking them that when they have approved and they have released the gazetted notice. So that's how the complaints got reduced, and now 80 to 100% people, they are getting the license. But still, when they are providing the license, they are not providing the insurance, if we met with an accident and all. So we are fighting for it a lot again. So, but the people are busy in their work, but yeah, still people are getting the license, but that's also important in insurance. The hearing people, they are getting the insurance security, but we are not getting. So we should be treated equally also. Yeah. So I understood your point, and that was actually made a bigger impact. I could realize with your point. So in Maharashtra, you mentioned that, yeah, your organization, like for the deaf people. Okay. Okay, perfect. So the first thing I really liked what you mentioned, that your organization made a bigger impact, that if you can't provide us a license, you need to pay a monthly salary to our driver. I hope in India and other states also, they can also follow this and replicate the thing which you have mentioned. And also the people 70 to 80%, some people are getting the license and it's still in process. And hopefully other people will also get the license. The insurance part, that is more important. So next time, yes, we will again have a panel discussion on it, the driving license and also the insurance security, how they can get it. So we will discuss more on it. But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. So Aniket, saying one more thing, in India, in some states people are getting, some states people are not getting. For example, so if the court, they are not accepting, and the high court, they have made the order. So if you got you can ask in Delhi High Court also, you can file the complaint and you can mention that this court had ordered, and they can they can say that if the other court is agreeing to the fact, So there is a word CONTEMPEPER. It is something competent. So if you can send the letter to the High Court and you can ask them when the other state contempt of court order, so they can mention that if the other court has ordered and that is the contempt of order, if you are not accepting the fact. Yeah, so we would be asking you question once again. If any of the deaf audience would like to ask you, would have you once again. We would like to have the another speaker now. Can we have Sarpan, please?
Yeah, Manisha, I can take it.
Okay.
Hi. Hello, Sagar. How are you? Thank you so much for joining our panel today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. It's a great discussion. All right, Sagar, let's start with an introduction. Who are you? What do you do? So you can see my name already. This is my sign. I work with Uniki, sign medium, sign channel, and there are various other verticals. I am actually the translation and the access expert in their team. Great. Thanks so much, Sagar. How did you get your license? Because I see you do have your license. What was the process? How did you get it done? Sure. So I do have a license, but it is only a two-wheeler license. MCWG, that's what. Then it's called an LMV, which I don't have. Light motor vehicle. That's for the cars. And the bike license, the first time I failed. The second time is when I got the license. The first time I failed because I was about 18 years. I was not actually 18 years. That was a rule, right? And I had been driving for a very long time and I didn't know. My father took me to the RTO. Maybe he bribed the agent, maybe 6,000 rupees or something like that. And something happened. But then there is the learning license, right? You know, the learning license, which is provided. That is the first step. And only then after after some time do you get the driving license. So with the learning license, there's a correct, the learning license, the short form is LL, learning license. It's a 6-month time period after which you get your DL, that is your driving license. But it was very difficult. There was some kind of an issue. The money was lost and they would not give me the driving license, though I got the learning. But that was the first time and I lost the money, the time. But anyway, which place is this? This is in Assam, my area. But anyway, so we let that first complication go. And I kept hearing, you know, other places in Maharashtra and other places in the country, people are getting licenses. When I was 19, I have this love for bike riding. So again, I felt the first time maybe I failed. So this time maybe not good to depend on an agent. And Aadhaar, PAN, and all these applications, I already had it done for myself. Just have to pay 150, 200 bucks and you get your documents. So I thought, why not check this for myself? Don't need to bribe the agent this time. So I applied for an online website, which you have, the Parivahan website. That's the license process. Can you name that again, please, Sagar? Yes, it's called the Parivahan. The website, basically the license website of the government is known as the Parivahan website. And this is very recent that you can apply online. It was not there before. The process was manual. So I applied online, filled the forms. So they asked me, you know, are you from a general category? So I checked the disability category, PWD category. And then they asked me, do you LMV or the motor or the bike, basically. So I chose that. And then there are physical fitness checks also, which they do. There's a test which they need to do. There are a lot of questions, 5 questions actually. Is there some kind of mental problem? If your hand's okay, if there's a horn, will you be scared? You have to ensure all no, 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 no. But one thing that, yes, I don't hear. That I put. But the fact is that, see, if you put yes, that you uh, uh, are deaf, that is the time you have to get your medical certification. Anyway, that is what I did. So you all, after application, have to go to the RTO. So I got the medical certification from the government office. You have to, yes, you have to get it checked. They didn't ask me whether you're deaf or no. My aim was only to get my license. But then you have to go for the license. And I communicated with them in English. And I was texting with them. And the RTO actually, did not tell me, but I myself went to the medical representative. I went with actually, there was a friend of mine who was there. I gave him the form and he understood that this is for the license. So he asked me that you don't hear, how do you do it? But the fact is, say that I can drive irrespective of whether I can't hear. I use rear view mirrors. And in 2016 also, that, there was the order which was passed that irrespective of whether being deaf, if you use hearing aids, you have the poster behind in the car and use the rear view mirrors. Then this person wrote all the required rules that if this is available, this person can drive. And yeah, he sent that letter and that person accepted. After acceptance, there was a written exam. I gave the written exam. There are 10 questions about direction, the color of the lights, what does green mean? So green means go. So these questions are multi-choice questions. Do you have to read before? Yes, yes. 2 days before, 1 day before, I did some reading and learning, but it's very easy. And I passed that exam and they gave me the learning license first. So I thought, no, I want the learning license, but they said, no. We give you the learning license for 6 months. And so you have to wait. There's a time period where you have to wait. So there is no chance after getting the learner license, I have to wait. And then you have to give the driving test. There is no change in the circuit for deaf and hearing. They have their own place, their own locality, own testing range actually. They have these red cones on the path and you have to maneuver in between those red cones. If the red cone falls, that means you are disqualified. You have to ensure that you maneuver the red cones without any of them falling. And there was a police officer who was checking. He was sitting at a height and he saw that I was great. I did very well. And he clarified, he approved. Tushar said that the police person did ask you, are you deaf, using hearing aid, how would you drive this, that? See, the thing is, there was a long line. There was a person, I was deaf. See, hearing people, they can just simply call. There is a person, who's sitting right next to the officer who is checking the names. So I went up to him and told him that, please, I don't hear. If you can let me know, my name is Sagar. I'm here as an applicant. And the assistant then understood. But the officer there, then he informed the agent. The agent told me and I gave the test. There was no communication issue at all. So after the approval, that friend of mine, when the medical certification, when he wrote all those rules, I think there were no issues after that. So I think, that is the medical certification is the powerful paper. That is what we need. After that, there is no questions. But then if there were no medical papers, they would have more questions for you. Why isn't it there, this, that? But since I had that paper, I had no issue. So I paid about 900, 800 rupees only. And that is the government rate actually. And I think there was no change in my process. I was fortunate enough. I got the license for MCWG, right? For the biking license. LMV is for the car. And now hopefully they have actually changed some norms. So MCWG, if we call it bikes, if the person with who is deaf or the person with disability? So persons with disability, for example, if there is a person who doesn't have legs, they have to use additional tires. So with the license which I had got for the bikes was different. And there were some other people who, didn't have licenses. Since I had it, they asked for help. So I saw with one person, his process was all fine. But when he went to the medical representative, there was issues. This was West Bengal, because see, in Assam, there was no issue. In West Bengal, there was some kind of an issues. So the vehicles have to be customized. But for me, in Assam, the medical certification did all the work, but in West Bengal, it was different. So somehow his process was discontinued. He couldn't connect, wasn't successful in getting the license. Then the bike part, I mean, if you choose only for bikes, two-wheelers, and the 6 questions related to your physical fitness, if you keep doing yes, no, 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 no. And last, if you put yes, then, then you have to put ADPV, the additional, basically customized vehicle, which you have to use. So you have to agree that you will use a bike, which is going to be adapted. Persons with disability, if you're giving you a bike, so adapted or customized vehicle. So when I chose the biking license, see, the fact is, because the physical fitness, the last question, do you hear or not? Do you have hearing sense? I put no. That is the problem. That is where, so Tushar is saying that this is only in Assam. Like, no, this is an online process and this has been changed. You can see it online. This is an update in the system, in the process. But again, see, the MVA is the main issue. If we can amend that, where they are saying that 100% deaf can't see. See, because various kinds of diseases and sickness is different, but disability is dangerous. They think that it will lead to some kind of dangerous or an accident, stuff like that. So in case you have the license, do you accept? Then they will get a bike, and which is going to be customized. Other kind of tires, bigger tires, etc., are going to be adapted. And then, but somehow there's a difference, there's no respect on the perspective that we are visual people, we can drive, no problem. But then their thing is again focusing on the ability to hear. So it makes me really disappointed. So Tushar says that I understand from your conversations that before it was easier, now the changes have made it a little more difficult. And the fact is, the MVA, if that can be amended, it will be the sure shot solution. So Sagar, here I'm saying I live in a village. Guwahati, as you know, Assam is the city, is 2 hours from my difference. There also they don't agree. So RTO at my place agreed, but the Guwahati RTO did not agree. Imagine, it's just 2 hours from my place. See, here also the awareness, maybe city people more aware that no, disability, deaf can't hear, but in my village there was no issue. And I was fortunate. See, I have the license. I think I got it. So that's it from my side. Tushar here. Thank you so much, Sagar, for sharing your story. Hopefully, if there are more questions related to you, we will have you back on. Thank you. I will definitely be interested in answering that. Next, can we have Deepak with us? Hello. Good to see you. All well, Deepak? Can you please give us your background? Who are you? What do you do? Hi, this is my sign name. I am Deepak. I am from Bangalore and I work with Enable India in the Here a Million project. So I work with Tushar and Charu, and we are trying to provide accessibility, growth, and other kind of opportunities to the deaf community in India, and also giving a lot of other content on social media. So Tushar here, Deepak, you got your license. Can you tell us how you managed? What was the process? Where did you go? Share your experiences. Yeah, sure. Great. I'm from Bangalore. I'm a native. Uh, I'm a true Bangalorean, not a Keralite. I've grown up in Bangalore, and when I applied for the Bangalore RTO office for my license, there was a police people who said they, of course, didn't accept. There was no further talking about it at all. As you said, the MVA, the Motor Vehicle Act, the clause which is mentioned. So a lot of deaf people, they have downloaded different kinds of PDFs or something. I asked them if there's some PDF. I took those PDFs. The police person would not listen to me. They would not believe that I can drive. And anybody who was, many of them I saw, they were using hearing aids or maybe headphones and stuff like that. But somehow they were only selecting me. I was their problem. So this is talking about the RTO office, right? Yes, this is the RTO. So before going to the RTO, I went to an agent, and this agent did the licensing work. He also said that you are deaf. No, you cannot drive. How would you drive? I said, no, there's so many hearing people, they drive with music, with headphones on. That is not a problem. So he said, no, if you get me the letter, if you get me some kind of proof, I get you the learning license. Now I start asking my Bangalore friends. They all said that better bribing is the better way. So now that is something I don't like. If you bribe and there is some kind of investigation, I could, I don't like this kind of process. It's not a clean process. At that time, I was studying at National Institute of Speech and Hearing in Trivandrum, Kerala. And during my 3 years education there, that was the time, actually, I had already applied before that. The doctor then said that, so the hearing aids are required, right? You have to use a hearing aid. And I had 60%. So 55 to 60% above, if you have the hearing sense, they won't allow. Even with hearing aids, so my certificate says 90 or 100, profoundly deaf. Along with that, if you have a hearing aid, that makes your hearing will is 50 to 60%, right? But no, it's not allowed. Below 60%, if it is, so there are some decibel level issues there, which is a minimum, it's a benchmark. But anyway, I had to get my license. That was the thing, and I didn't stop trying. I get another new hearing aid from a friend of mine, and I go to the agent again, get all the documents, get my hearing aid, also my hearing test to show what decibel level was required. Now, I was also practicing my driving. So when the exam was there, the written exam, I filled all the MCQs. Then during the driving test, they said that there is no certification. So I said, I'm sorry, I did not know about the certification. I was not even carrying my folders. And maybe that person, there, people from niche in Kerala actually go to that place again and again. It's the same RTO, all the deaf. It's called KL22. So example, every region has their own RTOs. So in Trivandrum, Kazagottam, there's a place, and that region is called KL22. So if your car is KL22 number, you will have to go to that RTO. And all the officials there, even the high-ranking officials there, know about many deaf people going there. And so my agent, I was with my agent, and there also the police person is there, right, who's doing the checking, and then there is a circuit there for the driving test. But I was wondering how I would talk. The police person started talking to me. I told this person that I am deaf. Now he showed me some forms about the various kind of marks on the road, which I answered correctly. Then there was a high-ranking official who told me? So I had already informed this official that I was deaf. So the process for me was same as a hearing person. So I had gotten all the medical documents, but I did not submit my hearing test with them. I had just submit my physical fitness and my visual acuity and all of that. So with those documents, I got the license in Kerala. My Aadhaar has the Bangalore address. When I was studying in Kerala, that would have challenged, right? I'm from Bangalore. So they asked me, where are you staying here? So I said that I'm a student in Nish. So I stay in the hostel. So I need the license. So they asked for the Nish ID, plus also a consent letter and all these kind of different documents. And they gave me a temporary license, not the permanent license. They said that for the permanent license, we would get it from Bangalore. Tushar says that you would have to go to Bangalore, is it? So temporary license, should I keep on waiting? Okay, so anyway, you got your license from Kerala. So other people who are facing issues, can they also come to Kerala and get the license? So yeah, it's a little complicated. Let me explain. If you come to Kerala for a license, maybe you might get it, but you have to understand, are you there in Kerala? Are you working? Do you have a job? Are you studying? Do you have residential proof? Are you a tenant? You have to have proof. Without proof, this cannot be approved. Because where will they send your license? The RTO needs to send you some documents. It won't send it anywhere else unless you give them a proof of address. So with this, you can make it work, but the reason you have to understand. Okay, thanks, Deepa, for explaining. Let me have one more question to you. What is the process of getting the license? So I have, my license is both two-wheeler and a four-wheeler license. LMV is the same. MCWG. Like Sagar said, is for two-wheelers, and LMV. I checked both when I was applying. And it's same as a hearing candidate after finishing your exam. So then there is an H shape. The car, you have to make an H shape with the car. Alone. There's no person in the car. Policeman is outside and watching. If you hit any of the boundaries or any of the sides, you are disqualified. What happens if you're disqualified? Whether you have to pay again. This you have to try 1 week or 1 month later again. Then you have to make a 8. And you have to make a complete shape of an 8. Then there's a road where I have to practice, and then there's an actual police officer with stars on on his uniform, who is sitting with me in the car. Then you have to first, second, third, fourth gear, and after you show them that you know how to drive in the first, second, third, fourth, after the fourth gear, they then stop you. So there are these 4 steps, 4-step procedure which I had to follow, and I got my license. Thank you so much, Deepak, for sharing your experiences of how you got your license. If you get any questions related to you, we'll have you back on.
Saurabh, I'll take over.
Sure.
Wow. So we have the panels who shared their different experiences. If you have any doubt, kindly raise your hand. Let me see how many people are there. Okay, so there are 5 people. So we'll giving you 10 minutes only, maximum 10 minutes, and you can ask your query. So we will start with the first person. Yes. Hi, Avinash. Hello. Yes. To whom you would like to ask a question? Anyone can decide. After looking at my question, whoever would like to answer can answer. So my sign name is this. I'm Avinash Rana. I would like to ask you, at my experience, for the, earlier you have to get a medical certification, right? So I tried to get the medical certification and I went here and there. So at the end, for the audiology test, they said no. I told them that I'm using hearing aid. I told them that, I born as a deaf person. So the doctor said, this is a medical system. We can't provide you a medical certification for the license, right? So how I can, solve that situation? Okay, Anuj or Sagar or anyone who would like to answer the question, if you can raise your hand, panelist. Yes, so Mr. Anuj is here. Uh, so if you have to get the audiology test, you are in Chandigarh, right? You went to the PGI hospital. So they rejected your application, correct? Yes, they rejected the application. So in sector 16 Panchkula as well. So the association has to write the letter, to the High Court has ordered, and along with the government order, Ministry of Transport, you have to attach the letter with your letter, and the association has to write the letter. Okay. So if there would be a lot of people, who got rejected, and if they would file the complaint along all together, so that's how you can get it done. The MV Motor Vehicle Act 1998, it talks about the hearing aid, but it's still not got amended, and government has not approved it. But the deaf association, they can, talk with each other, and they can write the letter. So deaf members of the association, they need to discuss with each other. So in Chandigarh, it's a union territory, and you can try and you can write the letter. Okay, that is understood. We will try it. But if I am a deaf person, being born as a deaf person only, I don't use a hearing aid. So what I can do in that situation? The law talks about it, that yeah, if you are having a hearing aid, but that doesn't mention, if we will amend it. So in the hearing, if you're getting the test when driving license test, so the physical test is a problem, I understand, because the High Court had ordered that hearing and deaf person, they should be treated equally. They have ordered, but government, they are not implementing the court's order. But if after amendment of the MV Act, I think that will gonna take long time. Okay, I'll try my best. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anuj, for answering the question. Anuj, if you can be here only, and we'll see the another person from the audience. Okay. Hello, Tushar. Hello, Rajat. So I know that there are a lot of questions people would like to ask. So I have an impact story related to the license which I have got. I have got the LMV, and also I've got the insurance also. If you can explain in short, yes, sure. So I went to the RTO office. I always wanted to get the license. I could drive my car, my own two-wheeler. But when I saw that, yeah, National Association of Deaf, they were protesting, and I was quite happy at that time. So I went to the RTO office and I talked to them. That I told them that they told me that, yeah, you need to have a hearing aid. I told them, okay. I went and I put the hearing aid, and then I saw that, okay, I asked my mother to help me and interpret. So my boss, that person in RTO office that asked my mother, okay, he's your child, that's okay. So he tried to talk to me, and he was saying hello. So he thought, okay, he was asking me, what's your name, what are you doing and all. So I told him, sorry, I can't here. I can hear a horn sound and all, but I can't talk to you. So he told me, sorry, that's all. He just mentioned. So I felt discriminated that time. So I thought, what I can do. So I have my son and talk to that senior that, yeah, the order says that, oh, there is a high court order, and where they say that deaf people can also get the license. And when he saw the order, then he told me that, yeah, you will get the answer soon. So I asked my mother whether I need to use the hearing aid. My mother told me, no, it's not required. So after seeing the court order, they told me that you need to apply for it, for the license, and applied. I went for the procedures and all. So I told them, they told me, when do you would like to get the test and all. So I told them that I would like to get the test done today. The staff told me that, yeah, you are a deaf person, you are not allowed to. I told them, see, RTO officer, they have allowed me. So then the staff member, they came along with me to the RTO office, and that staff person, they went blank that the RTO officer has allowed me. So then I got the license done. And then what happened, project? Yes, so after that, the staff people, and they saw that, yeah, I told them that the RTO officer, they have mentioned that, yeah, I can get the test done. So the procedure is that, then they provide me the learning license. They told me that in the 6 months, after 1 month, you can come for the test. So after 1 month, I went there. I again made the payment, the fee, and they told me that you need to drive a car. I told them I'm not worried, and I can drive a car, and I can show you. Then I can drive easily. So we have to show our own. We have to bring our own car, and then I showed them how to drive a car, and that's how I got it. Yeah. Second thing, deaf person, the other deaf people, they can also get it. So they got it, the license, with my help, because I fought for it. And my mother, she gave me two-wheeler on my birthday. And that's how, I started using it. And I went to the officer. They told me that, if you are if you have the license, that is fine. If you can get the insurance easily. If you may met with an accident, so you will get the 100% claim for it. Okay, so when you bought the scooty, I got the insurance at the same time. So they told me that, if you will met with an accident, so that person told me that, you need to have, if there is any animal or something, like you met with an accident when there is an animal coming in your way, so then you will get the insurance for it. Okay, so yeah, that is the form which I got when I bought the new two-wheeler. At that time, I asked them whether if I met with another vehicle, met with an accident with the another vehicle, then what would happen. So they said, then you have to pay 100%, and then you will not get the claim. So they told them that if there would be any animal would be coming in your way, then you would get the 100%. So that's fine. I think I thought that would be the right thing for us. So the license, if you have the license, you will get the insurance for sure. So I just would like to show you license. Wow, waving hands for you. Great. So I have the LMB license now. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So yeah, in my area, I got it, but not in my district. But in the other district, also people got it in Uttarakhand, and yeah, some people are getting it. In some places, yeah, people are not allowing it. So I hope that yeah, other people will also get it. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much. We'll have the another question. We can take two more questions. Okay, great. Hi, Gaurav. So I would like to ask Sagar and Deepak the same experience. You have a question or yes, I have a question. Okay. To whom you would like to ask Sagar and Deepak both? Question? You have a question? Who would like to ask? Who would like to ask Sagar or Deepak? Sagar. I would like to ask Sagar. Okay. Let me spotlight Sagar. Can we have Sagar, please? Is Sagar here? Sagar, can you see me? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, Sagar, great. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Yes, Gaurav. So the same thing I have experienced, I got the license, but the problem would happen. I have a low vision, then they were not allowing me. Then how I can get the license? I went to the RTO office, the same thing I did, whatever you did. I got the license also, but in one eye, I have a low vision. So I didn't get the license. Then how I mean, I got the medical certificate also. They told me that you couldn't get the certificate because you have a low vision in one eye. So, if you have a low vision, so you need to go to the doctors to get the medical certification. If they approve you, then you can easily get the license. Okay. You understood? So, if you have a low vision, you can see with these spectacles. Yes, I can see. Yes, but they told me no, you can't get the medical certification. But there are other hearing people also. I have a 80% hearing loss and I can hear horn sound also, but they were saying no, you have a low vision in one eye and you would not get the license, the medical certification. But there are other hearing people also, they also use the spectacles, right? And they are still driving a car. How they are getting the certification? You need to ask them, if the hearing people who are using spectacles and they can drive a car, if they are not getting it, then the medical certification is more important. So if doctors, if they might think that, oh, you are a deaf person, then also they are easily discriminating you. They provided me the two-wheeler license, but they're saying that for the four-wheeler will not provide you. So I think you can tell them that yeah, I can show you proof that yeah, I can drive car. You need to try and talk to them, right? That you can tell them that yeah, I can drive a car and I can drive a two-wheeler also. If you will not fight for it, then they will not easily provide you. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. Deepak, if you would like to add something. Yeah. So I would like to ask you one thing here. In my experience, in eye test, I went to the doctor. So they kept one hand on one eye and then they have the color blinded test also. So in the eye test, whether you have got the eye test done, if there is there is some problem you face, there could be a chance that you didn't get the license. So they asked me for the different eye tests. They told me that you need to go to the doctor. They told me, so I went to the doctor. Everything was done. They told me that for two-wheeler that is approved, but for four-wheeler, how you got the approval for the two-wheeler but not for that is not clear. So for the two-wheelers, I got the approval for the license, but the four-wheelers, they were not approving it. They were saying that no, they were saying that on the two-wheeler that's easy to look on your besides, but on the car that would be difficult for you because you have a low vision in one eye. So there what I got stuck. Okay, so I think you could ask them, it would be better to ask the doctor what I don't know what could be the rules for the four-wheelers. They might be having a rules regulation for the eye test also, that is more important. Eye vision. So maybe that's why they might not provide you the medical certification. Okay, thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Deepak, for answering Gaurav's question. So now we would be having one last question. There are male people, there are males only asking the question. We would like to have one female. Is there any female who would like to ask a question? No? Okay, so last one, we can have one more male asking the question. Yes, Prasad. Yes, we can see you. Hello. Yes, to whom you would like to ask the question? To Deepak. To Deepak, I would like to ask you. Okay, can we have Deepak, please? Has Deepak joined? He's just joining. Just give us a second. Okay, no matter. I'll explain my point. Yes, so Deepak is here. Now Deepak can see you. Hi, Deepak. Hi, Prasad. So I'm from Goa. So I got the license, two-wheeler and the four-wheelers. I've got it. But 3 times I've got, after the 3 time facing the challenge with the medical certification also, after facing the 3 time challenge, then I got it. So likewise, you were talking about the niche National Institute of Speech and Hearing, you were studying over there, you got the certification. So the license, some deaf people are saying that we also got the license like hearing people are getting. But if we got the license and if in case we met with an accident, and if the people are checking our documents and then they find out that there is a deaf person, and because they don't get the insurance, and uh, if the deaf person, they can file the complaint, so the second thing, they also find that the person has a deafness too, the disability too. So I've had this experience where I met with an accident, and I went to the officer, they told me that, yeah, you had deafness also, that could be the reason that you couldn't get the license, because so they told me that you need to get the medical certification. So but there are other people who are saying that you can easily get the license, but I'm not getting it. If we met with an accident, what could be the situation in it?
Okay, let me just honestly tell you. See, the fact is, when you got your license, I got my license and I had my accident at night, the same day. But luckily, I already had the license, and it was not my mistake. It was the other car's mistake. It banged into me, and the people fell. So there were a lot of questions, lot of issues. The hearing driver and I, we communicated on text and chat. So I asked them, why were you driving so fast? So the police car came. This is on a national highway, not on a city road. So there are these patrol cars. So the patrol car came. So I told that I didn't want to complain to the police because cases take a really long time. I don't want to do this court issue. So they asked me if I have license. I had the license on the very same day. I got the license on that day. Now the bikers, where was that license? So the bike was somebody else's. I called that, they called, wanted to call. I told them, no, that person is deaf. So did they ask me, do you want to complain? I said, no, I don't want to complain. So anyway, after our discussions, they paid me about 2,000 rupees and also went with me to the hospital for my checkup and treatment. So, I could have lodged a case, but you know how court cases, legal process become very time taking. Whether it is a simple process or a very dangerous case, it takes a very long time. So I already knew that I want to solve it out mutually. And better is that the person can pay for the damage. Okay, thanks for Deepak. for explaining. But if I'm saying that you never know if there is a major accident, a very dangerous accident, if there is a injury or some kind, what do you know? How would you do? It would be a very strong case. Okay, let me inform that if there is an accident, there's something I learned from my previous experience. The person who is there, my responsibility to take the person quickly to the hospital as soon as possible. I am forgetting the name. You can go to the outpatient department in the hospital, get the ticket number, put that it's a hospital, it's an accident case, and keep that bill, keep that paper. After everything is finished, at the end, you can show it to the police, and about the who was right, who was wrong. Basically, you can go to the traffic police and show the paper, and then it depends on the person who I accidentally crashed into. It's the person who decides, not the police. If the person wants to fight a case, or the person wants to accept or just let it go, that complaint can be actually torn. Okay, thank you for explaining. Let me show my experience. There have been a lot of challenges in Goa related to the license, and the issues still remain. Previously there was no technology, there was mostly manual work. But now with the softwares, they're all same. Like Sagar signed, remember? Yeah, I remember his sign now. So the issue is that 1 week or 2 week back, I was discussing with a high-ranking official, and they said that, oh, I understand the problem of the deaf. Why not, amend the MVA? Tushar says, Prasad, I'm sorry, but you have to restrict your question to only one question because there are others also. Deepak says, thank you so much, Prasad. We'll take your question some other time. Thank you. Very sorry to interrupt. However, just a minute. Can you all see Tushar? Okay, great. So now we are actually, the time which we had allotted, we are way over that. We need to give it a rest. We need to stop this session here. We will surely plan another session because we understand how much this is required. We will definitely have another session. Please see, there is a link in the chat box, which is the feedback form link. We request everyone to check the chat and give us your precious feedback so that we can plan future sessions and panels and keep discussing these issues. We want to thank Anuj, Saudamini, Aniket, Sagar, and Deepak, all the 5 panelists. Thank you for agreeing to be on our panel. Thank you for sharing your experience and stories with the community. They were very valuable experiences and so important. We'd also like to thank Manisha and Saurav, our sign language interpreters for the day, who have been voicing for the entire 1.5 hours. Thank you so much for your support. We'd also like to thank the team at Here a Million, Charu and Deepak, who took the responsibility of ensuring we had all the people. And our last request will be, please ensure that you give us your precious feedback, and we hopefully will have more sessions like this. Also, not the least, thank you so much for all the patients, participants, for being so patient and being with us for the entire duration of the program and being with us and seeing the program. But do not forget to fill the form, and you can continue watching the Instagram handle of Here a Million for more updates. Please